You know that feeling, right? You're sitting in a school meeting, listening to a string of acronyms, IEP, FAPE, LRE, and you just feel completely lost, like you're trying to crack a code just to understand what's going on with your own child's education. Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to hand you the key to unlock all of it.
And I mean that. You are so not alone. It's an incredibly common feeling, but I promise, by the end of this, that so-called secret language won't be a secret to you anymore.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the two big laws that are the foundation for everything. Then we'll dive deep into all those IEP terms, decode the 504 plan, and wrap it up with a few other key phrases that'll have you feeling like a pro.
Okay, to really get a handle on this, you got to start with the two major federal laws that everything is built on. Think of them as the two main pillars holding up the entire world of special education support.
Honestly, it all boils down to this one simple but absolutely crucial difference. On one side, you have IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. I want you to think specialized instruction. This is about creating a uniquely tailored educational program. On the other side, you've got Section 504. That's a civil rights law. For that one, think equal access. It's all about clearing the path so a student can access the same education as their peers. So one provides a different map, the other provides a ramp.
All right, so let's follow that first pillar, IDEA, and see how it leads us to the thing you'll hear about most, the IEP. Now this is where the alphabet soup really gets thick, but don't worry, we're going to tackle these one by one.
First up, the big one, the IEP itself, the Individualized Education Program. This isn't just a plan, it's a legally binding document. It's the contract between you and the school that spells out every goal, every service, every little detail of the support your child will get.
Now, before you can figure out where you're going, you have to know where you are, right? That's the PLAFP. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but all it means is it's a snapshot of how your child is doing right now, academically and in daily life skills. That starting line analogy, it's perfect. Every goal in the IEP is built right from this spot.
Next is FAPE, and this is the core promise of the whole law. It stands for a free, appropriate public education. The key word there is appropriate. It means the school has to provide an education that's tailored to your child's needs so they can make real progress. And of course, it has to be completely free for you.
This brings us to a huge concept, LRE, or the least restrictive environment. Basically, it's the principle of inclusion. It means that your child has a right to be in the classroom with their non-disabled peers as much as it is appropriate for them. The goal is always integration, not isolation.
Now, you might hear the term ARD meeting, especially depending on what state you're in. Don't let it throw you. Admission, review, and dismissal, it's just another name for the IEP team meeting. It's the big sit-down where everyone on the team, including you, gets together to make all the important decisions.
And if behavior is getting in the way of learning, you might hear about a BIP, or Behavior Intervention Plan. Super important to know, this is not a punishment plan. It's a proactive, positive tool that helps everyone understand why a behavior is happening and then teaches the student new, positive skills to use instead.
Okay, let's switch gears. We've talked about IDEA and specialized instruction. Now let's jump over to that other pillar, Section 504, which is all about access. The language here is a little different, but it's just as important to know.
So a 504 plan is for a student who has a disability that impacts them at school, but who doesn't need that specialized instruction we talked about. Instead, what they need are changes to the learning environment so they can access it fairly. We're talking about things like getting extra time on tests, being able to take a quick sensory break, or sitting in a specific spot in the classroom.
And this brings up a really critical point. Accommodations, which are the heart and soul of a 504 plan, change how a student learns. They level the playing field. Modifications, which you see more often in IEPs, actually change what a student is expected to learn. They adjust the playing field itself. Huge difference.
So who's on the team for a 504? Well, it's usually a smaller crew than for an IEP. The two most important people are typically the general education teacher, because they're the one making the accommodations happen day to day, and a case manager, like a school counselor, who's the main point of contact, making sure the whole plan is working.
All right, you're doing great. We've tackled the big plans. Now let's finish up by adding a few more essential terms to your vocabulary. These are mostly about timelines, and a couple other common acronyms you'll definitely hear tossed around.
You know, this whole process has a calendar to it. First, that IEP has to be formally reviewed at least once every single year.
That's the annual review. You should also get progress reports on your child's goals as often as other kids get report cards. And then there's the big one. Every 3 years, a major reevaluation, called the triennial, has to happen to make sure the student still qualifies and that the plan is still right.
Okay, ready for a lightning round? Here are a few more you'll hear. LEA, that's just a fancy way of saying your local education agency or your school district. SPED, that's just short for the special education department. You'll hear OT, PT, and ST all the time. That's occupational, physical, and speech therapy. And AT is assistive technology, which can be anything from a simple pencil grip to a high-tech communication device.
This one sounds intense, and it's for a very specific situation, but it's an important protection. If a child with a disability is facing a serious disciplinary action, like a long suspension, this meeting has to happen. Its whole purpose is to figure out, was the behavior caused by the child's disability? It's a key safeguard.
Phew. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. You've seen the terms, you've heard what they mean. So, what about that secret language we talked about at the beginning? Let's put your new skills to the test.
Just a few minutes ago, this sentence right here would have sounded like complete and utter gibberish. But look at it now. I mean, really, look at it. Can you translate it in your head? You know what the PLAFP is, you know what an ARD meeting is, you know what a BIP does, and you know what FAPE guarantees.
See? You totally get it. It clicks. It's not some secret exclusive language anymore. It's just a set of tools, and now they're in your toolbox.
And that is really what this is all about. Understanding this language, it gives you power. It makes you a truly equal, confident member of your child's team.
Look, nobody on this planet knows your child better than you do. You have always been their #1 advocate. Now, you just have the vocabulary to match that passion. So the only question left is, are you ready to use your voice at that next meeting? I think you are.